All right, good day, class. If you're just joining us, please kindly subscribe to this channel as we take on the topic which is titled "Methods of Exercising Control Over the Media." Methods of exercising control over the media. In any society, particularly in developing or authoritarian contexts, holds political power holders often seek to control the mass media just to manipulate public perception, suppress dissent, and maintain their hold on power. So this control can be exerted through a variety of methods, both overt and covert methods, or overt and covert means. And these methods reflect the political culture and institutional frameworks within which the media operate. So one of the most direct methods is through authoritarian mechanisms, such as repressive legislation and censorship. So governments here enact laws that limit press freedom under the guise of national security or public order. These laws may criminalize so-called false news, in quotes, sedition, or any reportage that appears to challenge governmental authority. So a vivid example is the Nigerian military regimes of the past, particularly under General Sani Abacha, when laws were used to suppress freedom of expression. Media workers at that time faced harassment, arbitrary arrests, and in some cases, brutal violence. So the most chilling instance in the 1986 assassination of the Nigerian journalist Dele Giwa, who was killed by a parcel bomb, an event that year highlighted the dangerous extremes to which political authorities could go to silence dissenting voices. So beyond direct violence or threats, control can also be achieved through structural elements of media systems. And one of such structure is the management of the organization. Again, is what? The management of the organization, which we can refer to as the management structure. Ownership and management are intricately linked. Whoever owns a media house ultimately determines its managerial appointment and editorial direction. So in the case of state-owned media, this often means appointing individuals who align with the ruling government's ideology or political interests. Thus, editorial policies are rarely independent and instead they only serve as a tool for political propaganda. And the next point that I'll be looking at here is finance. Finance is also one of the methods of exercising control over the media. And speaking of finance, is another crucial tool of control, where media organizations here require substantial funding to operate. And in cases of government-owned outlets, financial independence means susceptibility to manipulation. And in Nigeria, government-funded media houses often receive subventions or grants, but this funding can be used as a leverage. So a media house that fails to align with governmental expectations may face budget cuts. They end up facing delayed salaries, and we've seen that unfold in some radio stations here in Kwara State. I don't want to mention them, or withdrawal of advertising patronage. And this creates a climate of self-censorship where journalists and editors avoid topics that could jeopardize the organization's survival. And next one we'll be looking at is production. The production infrastructure of media is also equally vital when it comes to controlling a media house. So media production relies heavily on advanced technology, such as your cameras, transmitters, editing softwares, and broadcasting equipment. And in most African countries, this technology is imported from more developed nations due to the lack of local capacity for media technology production. So this reliance becomes a vulnerability in geopolitical conflict. For instance, during the Abacha regime, sorry for taking you back to Abacha regime again, Nigeria was suspended from the Commonwealth following the execution of the late Ken Saro-Wiwa and other Ogoni activists. So the resulting pariah status limited Nigeria's international engagement. affecting its ability to import needed media equipment. So, such political isolation undermines the operational capacity of media houses, making them more dependent on the state for access to essential technology. And the last one, which is distribution. Distribution represents another dimension of media control, particularly in the broadcast sector. The ability to distribute radio or television signals depends on access to expensive transmitters, network infrastructure, and also favorable geographic conditions. So, in regions with rugged terrain or underdeveloped infrastructure, signal distributions become challenging and costly. So, governments may exploit this by controlling the issuance of licenses or limiting frequency access, thereby ensuring that only state sanctioned voices are heard in certain areas. So during military rule in Nigeria, independent broadcast signals were often jammed, and stations like OGBC, which is the Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation, were shut down temporarily or permanently to prevent the spread of undesirable information that the military government of the day, is not cool with or probably okay with. So these methods of control, whether through structural manipulation or direct coercion, shapes the media landscape, and it determines the extent to which the media can serve as a watchdog. It is also a forum for debate or a mirror of society. So, in context where such control is unchecked, the media becomes an arm of the state rather than independent pillar of democracy. You also have an assignment for this class, and it reads thus: discuss how the structural elements of media control, that is, management, finance, production, and distribution, enable political authorities to influence media content and public opinion in developing democracies, using Nigeria as a case study. Analyze the implications of such control for press freedom and democratic development. So thank you very much for your time. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the content. Bye-bye.